Namaskar.
Namaskar.
A big compliment. One of the most lucid, elaborate, clear. I don't have any words to even say how good this presentation was. Very elaborate, and I even personally felt that I should go even deeper and deeper to understand Kayakalpa. So it's one of the best presentation I have ever attended to.
Thank you, Ayya.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ashvinaya. I need to thank only the masters. In English, they say standing on the shoulder of the giants. So I'm standing in the shoulder of the people like M.V.R. Ayya and others.
Namaskara, Ananda ji.
Hi, Julia.
And I want to do one question about Kayakalpa, but it's a technique, because for me is I don't understand why the exhalation is through the mouth and not through the nose. Maybe some explanation of it's about this, because all the pranayama in the tradition is through the nose. Maybe some like lion mudra or chitari pranayama is inhaling through the mouth, through the tongue, but always the yogis tell is not a good exhalation through the mouth because it's losing energy. And then I want to know what is the point of view about this, why exhalation is through the mouth in Kayakalpa.
The reason, Julia, why we want to do that ojas through the mouth is we need to create that venturi effect. So as seen in this picture, if the water is not sprayed through that small hole, it won't pass to large amount of field. By creating that pursing of the lips and using the gaps between the teeth to do that ojas breath, and the most important thing is the same time you should feel simultaneously that your subtle body is getting filled with the amount of ojas energy what you have gained during the Kayakalpa. By doing this, you are having a very good control, and that venturi effect will help in also releasing the excess of energy, which protects us from various untoward effects like psychological disturbance, headache, etc. We can't do this kind of a good venturi effect by using the nose unless if you use your fingers. And even with the nose, it's only like not as good as a mouth. If you do a good pursed lips and doing the expiration, the amount of venturi effect, the amount of expansion happens in subtle body is so measurable, so feelable also. That's why if we start feeling the subtle body, you will really enjoy Kayakalpa. And Tarunji doesn't have to give any challenge to you at all. You will be doing it like brushing and getting up, getting from the bed, etc. So it is the only way we can controllingly do that. That's a technique which is so peculiar to our Maharishi. While in nose we can only like blow our nose with some control, but that won't be helping with Kayakalpa. Again, I don't want to discuss much of procedural things, but we have much more seniors here, so possibly M.V.R. Ayya can add a few things on this. Please, Ayya.
We will ask Dr. Swatandra Devi. She will be able to tell more on it. Dr. Devi.
வாழ்க வளமுடன்.
வாழ்க வளமுடன். Welcome after a long time.
Yeah, thank you. See, this breathing through the clenched teeth, it's called, she already mentioned Shitali Pranayama. So Shital means coldness. So in pranayamas, we have different types. One is warming pranayama, like Bastrika and Kapalbhati, and then cooling pranayamas. So Shitali and Shitkari are cooling pranayamas. So that is one thing. During this process of Kayakalpa and these higher meditative practices, the body is getting heated. See, in Tamil, I'm saying, I don't know if you'll understand. When we raise the Kundalini, it's a fire, Mula Kanal, they call it. That is, Mula means that Mooladhara or the original fire in the body. Original fire means original energy, which was given to us by our parents, and then it's the causal energy in the body. So, but to raise it, it is always in a latent stage. That's why we say the serpent is sleeping. So if you have to raise it, you have to heat it. So that the snake, it hisses and then gets up, it wakes up with such a force that it pierces through the Sushumna Nadi, crosses each chakra, and then reaches the Sahasrara chakra. So that means a lot of heat is produced. We have to produce heat, and that is the point of doing Mula Bandha and some breathings. So the body gets heated also. Heat is a form of energy, so the whole body gets heated. But after that, to balance that, we have to do the Shitali Pranayama or the cooling Pranayama so that we balance, because everything about the health is a balance in heat and cold, activity and rest, and eating, in sleeping, everything we need a balance. So this, we first produce the heat so that there is an energy rise, and then we have to cool the body because it should not become excessive also. So that is one yogic point of view. And the other thing is, it's like clenching the teeth and keeping the pressure inside the lung. It's like we call it a Valsalva maneuver. Supposing your ears are blocked, what we do is block your nose and close your lips and then try to breathe out. So the pressure will go into your eustachian tubes and open it out. And then there is a pressure buildup in the lungs also. So when this pressure buildup in the lungs happens, then there is a lot more energy transfer from the lungs, oxygen and pranic energy transfer from the lungs into the bloodstream. So that means the whole idea of doing Kayakalpa is to increase your energy levels, to increase your pranic level and biomagnetism. So this breathing through the mouth, by increasing the pressure in the lungs, thereby facilitating the transfusion of the energy, oxygen and prana. There are two different things we have discussed. So those two, the more amount of oxygen and prana gets into the bloodstream, that, by the way, energizing the whole body. So that is my understanding of this Shitali Pranayama.
Very nice, Dr. Devi. Very nice. You have brought in certain aspects of the Ojas breath, and Dr. Ananda has given another half of it, that is breathing through mouth and nose. They are totally different. What is the function of this Ojas breath? It has to take the energy from Mooladhara to Sahasradhara, the higher chakras. And what do we do with the energy taken into the cranium? We have to judiciously use it, so we have to spread it, charge the entire body of the magnetism. How do you spread the energy lifted to the cranium, to the head? back to the body. And that is because of the expiration. Through the inspiration, you lift the energy from Mooladhara to this higher chakras or Sahasrara. Through the expiration, while breathing out, the idea is to create an obstruction to the outflow air, and we are preventing the pressure from getting dissipated. So we apply resistance to the outgoing air. And when you apply this resistance to the expiration, to the air that is coming out of the ojas expiration, it is raising the intracranial pressure. You can see while practicing Kayakalpa, when you breathe out, it is the eyeballs, they are getting pushed out, and there is an increase in the intracranial pressure. The venous flow is obstructed, and the space occupied by the veins in the cranium, in the brain, is enormous. So that also forces it downwards. So this downward push of the energy that was lifted to the brain is important, and this is charging the entire body cells. So for this reason, we take the breath through the nose and breathe out through the mouth. As we breathe out, we successfully build up the intracranial pressure. We successfully increase the obstruction to the neck veins so that the blood accumulates in the brain, occupy the space there, helps in the energy taken up to the brain to be pushed down into the body. So this is, doctors can appreciate it better than the non-medical people. Anyway, you can take it. We increase the resistance, obstruction to the outflow air, and the pressure in the build-up in the chest. Apply pressure over the jugulars, the veins that drain the blood from the brain, above the neck to the heart. That is selectively obstructed, and this increases the blood is unevenly distributed even in the lungs. Base of the lungs, it is more, blood is freely available. Upper lobes of the lung, blood is not that easily available because of the effect of gravity and erect posture. So similarly, in inspiration of the ojas, there is a negative pressure within the cranium, which sucks the blood, which sucks the energy into the head, the cranium. And during the expiration, there is obstruction to the flow of air to the oral cavity, through the oral cavity, by the clenched teeth and the relaxed tongue. If you see, after clenching the teeth, allowing the tongue to relax, the entire oral cavity is occupied by the solid structures there. So blowing air through these obstruction, that is the tongue, first the lips, everything, that is increasing the pressure within the brain or within the skull, which pushes the energy, being the energy being lighter than the air, it preferentially is pushed down, and this is aided by your mental thought wave, that is pulling the energy, spreading the energy like a shower, which is passing from head to neck to chest and abdomen and to the limbs, ultimately reaching the extremities. So this vital job has to be done in Ojas breath, and that's why we take the inspiration through the nose and expiration through the mouth. Does it explain, madam? Is it Blanca or who raised the question?
Julia, I don't know if my mic.
Yeah, right.
But thank you so much for the explanation, and the presentation of Dr. Ananda ji is excellent, and all the explanation very clear, and then for me was very great this day, this meeting, because I learned so much with this all this technique. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to ask something and say something, please. When we do Kayakalpa, we do 10 breaths.
10 Ashwini Mudras.
We do 10 breaths and we exhale through the nose. The 10, and then the 10th one is the one that we exhale through the mouth. Am I right?
The Ojas breath consists of an inspiration, indrawing of the air, and expiration, blowing out air out of the body.
Yes.
And the difference between the two is the inspiration creates a negative pressure in the skull, within the face, and during expiration it increases the pressure within the cranium or within the bony cage, and the space within the skull is filled by the brain, blood that is in the veins, and the air that is retained because of the obstruction to it. The 10 not breaths, 10 Ashwini Mudras. 10 Ashwini Mudras prepare the Ojas, and that is taken by the inspiration of the Ojas breath, and this is the negative pressure created within the brain, within the cranium, within the bony cave, skull. It sucks the energy, which is supplemented by the auto-suggestion mind, which also lifts the energy from Muladhara to the Sahasrara.
Yeah, but my specific question was on that 10 mudras, don't we exhale through the nose while we're doing that?
When you
Or we just hold the breath for 10 times and then
no,
do
when you breathe through the nose, as Dr. Ananda Kumar said, you cannot regulate the breath. You cannot apply more obstruction to the air that is flowing out. There is a selective redirection taking place. When you breathe through the nose, the air flows through the nose and not through the mouth. When you breathe through the mouth, when you breathe the mouth, the nose is the nasal passage is not used for the flow of air. You are pushing it only through the mouth. And if you practice this Ojas breath and apply these points which you have heard right now, you will be able to understand it better. We can repeat this question. We can repeat this question after a week or two of practice, and the third master will be able to help you out to understand.
I've been doing Kayakalpa for many years. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't, because I inhale with the tongue on the upper palate, and then I on the 10 times that I do the
Ashwini Mudra, anal contraction.
and I exhale through the nose, and then at the 10th time that I do it, then I do the ojas. So that's what I do. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. So so we do 10 breaths with the nose and 1 breath with
10 breaths, not 10 breaths. It is Ashwini Mudra.
No, Dr. Ravi, what she wants to know is, that during every 10 Ashwini Mudra she's doing, in that 10, she says, I breathe normally through the nose in and out. And the 11th time, it is the Ojas breath, breathing out through the mouth. Is that correct? What she's saying? Okay. You see, when we do Ashwini Mudra, she's combining the breath with it. You can either combine the breath, like inhalation, you start contracting, exhalation, you can relax, and that is through in and out of the nose only. Or sometimes you need not think about the breathing, just do the Ashwini Mudras, irrespective of what the breathing is. So either way you can do, but after 10, this Ojas breath is by inspiration, by drawing up the Mooladhara chakra, and then breathing out through the mouth. So that's okay. Is it clear now?
Yes, it's much clearer now. Also, I want to add that when you clench your teeth, your moles.
If you don't mind, can we have other questions in next session, Blanca madam? Apologies, we are already 10 minutes extra. Can we have separate QA session? Aya?
Yes, we can have.
Okay.
Sorry
to interrupt, Blanca madam and others. Yeah, we'll have a QA session separately.
I think that is very important because this lecture has given a lot of information and reasons for us to think further, also deeper into Kayakalpa. So probably we'll have one more week of time to think over and come up with some questions.
Yes.
I agree with you, Ashwin.
I'm sorry?
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Thank
so,
you.
Vijayalakshmi, do we have time, or shall we allow few more questions?
We are already 10 minutes extra we took with our regular time.
Okay. So, I request the participants who have more questions in Kayakalpa as well as the life force, the ojas breath, the biomagnetism, all those things, can write it and pass it on to the Vijayalakshmi Madam, and we will take it up next class. Is it okay?
Yeah, if you can write down the questions before, that is fine. If not, can they ask during the meeting, Aya? They can also ask questions. You cannot.
When they put the questions, when they write down the questions, it brings out clarity and it clears their own doubt, and you get the questions easy to answer them than when they are asked offhand, because you cannot control the questions. Whereas when you are writing down, it is what you have written will only be discussed. Okay, so I thank Dr. Ananda Kumar for bringing in so much of information on Kayakalpa, and it seems to be more important for many of the audience, as he rightly suspected. So that is, the class of Kayakalpa is one thing, and the life force in Kayakalpa is another thing. And so we have not covered the second part of it. We will do it in the next session. That is next Saturday.
Thank you, Aya.
I request all the participants who have come in, many new faces like Praveen and Meena, Puvi, all to write their comments and questions. Thank you. Vijayalakshmi, you can hurry up to wind up the show.